And welcome to the Inland Sports Show, everybody. 6:05 first pitch, or about so. A couple minutes late tonight, but for good reason. We've got a jam-packed show coming your way. A little bit later in the show, yes, we are the official show of cross country in the Inland Empire right now. We've had cross country coaches on the show the last several weeks. Tonight, Matt Sartori, the head coach at Redlands East Valley, will join us. He's got a very strong boys team. They had their first CBL meet this past weekend, so we'll talk some Rev cross country. Then Gary Adcock, the skipper at Cal Baptist, he will join us live as the Lancers will open up their season on Friday against Pepperdine, who was nationally ranked last year. Very good Pepperdine team, but California Baptist pretty good themselves as well. As Gary Adcock will join us live. Also, local football news. We'll have an interview with Jeremiah Martin, who is transferring from Texas A&M to the University of Washington. So we'll get to see the former Cajon star running around in the Pac-12. So again, jam-packed show, and we're leading things off. This might be the most interviews at one time that we've done on this show. We've had several guests on at the same time, but not 6 baseball coaches all at once. These guys are the head coaches that will be participating, assuming we have a baseball season, and I think we will. In the Riverside Classic, we have, I'm going to go in alphabetical order according to school so I don't ruffle any feathers here on the Inland Sports Show. Arlington's Tim Cleveno, Darius Carter from Canyon Springs, John Nochi, JW North, Steve Madrill, King High School, Clint Ball, Ramona, and Billy Ermert from Riverside Poly. Guys, thank you so much, all of you, for making time to hop on the show tonight. And let me start with Steve Madrill, because he's the one that reached out to me, and I know he wanted to get this ball rolling. Coach Madrill, you have deep Riverside roots. You're a Riverside guy. You wanted to see the Riverside Classic baseball tournament come back this year, featuring the old school Ivy League teams. Why was this important to you?
I think just for the history of it. I know there's been a lot of events that we've had locally that have kind of gone by the wayside. I know there's a big basketball one that we had way back in the day. And I know I can speak for myself and Tim and Billy is that when we were growing up, the Riverside Classic was it. It was the absolute tournament that you had to play in. It was the memories that were created throughout that whole 16, 18 team tournament that we had. And as we got older and we went on in our playing careers and now we're coaches, it kind of went away. And I know Tim and I have had the conversation for a long time of trying to bring it back in some form or fashion, because it's been a long time coming. It's something that I think our schools miss. I think our community misses. Bigger tournaments have popped up around the area. Spring breaks have gone different ways. So for us to bring this back now during, obviously a global pandemic, it's a way for us to turn a negative into a positive and bring these guys back together and play each other. And I'm excited, man, because being in the Big 8, we don't get to play at Arlington and Poly and North, Canyon Springs and Ramona. So for us to get over there and compete and do something local, Riverside-based, IE-based, I'm excited. It's going to be fun. I can't wait, and I hope it happens.
Well, Coach Madrill, you brought up a great point, and we're going to go to Coach Cleveno next from Arlington High School. And Coach Cleveno, the fact that, like Coach Madrill mentioned, we got the Big 8 League, we got the River Valley League represented, we got the Rain Cross Conference represented, we've got teams kind of all spread out all over the place, and I feel like the Riverside Classic is a chance to bring all those schools kind of together and relive some of those, classic rivalries that we've got used to here in the area.
Most definitely. I speak for myself and Steve for the main part. I mean, we were high school teammates at Arlington High School, and some of the rivals within the city were some of our biggest games. And to bring it back, it's something that we've wanted to do for a while. But like I said, we're in with Ramona, so now the opportunity to play the other schools. Might not always happen. So this is a way maybe we can make it happen in the future, and we keep some of the city rivalries going. Hey, and back when Madrill and I played, Canyon Springs was part of the Ivy League. It was a really good competitive league, and King wasn't around at the time, but it was Ramona, North, Poly, Arlington. So I'm just excited the fact that kind of brings back the history of Riverside and give us an opportunity to do it again.
Well, Coach Clefno, you brought up Canyon Springs, and I'll go to Coach Darius Carter for the Cougars next. And Coach Carter, the fact that, yes, Canyon Springs, I guess you would say, is on the fringe of Riverside. It's Moreno Valley, but it's still pretty close, and it's an old Ivy League school. Are you excited about the opportunity to kind of maybe rekindle some of these rivalries? I know you see North and Poly and some of these other Raincross Conference teams, but here's a chance to maybe see King or a team like Ramona or Arlington that you might normally not see.
Oh, yeah, I'm glad, man. I'm real happy that Coach Nochi and then playing him on a regular basis in league, and then Coach Madrill and Coach Ball reached out to me as being a part of this, and I jumped at the opportunity because with the COVID thing going on, we're kind of scrambling for games since we're now doing the Orange County tournament that we're usually in, and not to mention that I know it had played all these guys in the past, and it's just good to kind of get back together and bring all these teams back together playing in one spot.
Hey, let me go to Coach Ermert now at Riverside Poly High School. He loves baseball. He loves beards. I think he's anti-razor. I love the beard, Coach. But being at Riverside Poly, naturally, Arlington, it could be a rival. JW North could be a rival. I know the Lions are now in the River Valley League, but this is a chance to have some meaningful games for Riverside schools. I know it doesn't include every single Riverside school, but it's enough where you could say, hey, it's almost like a Riverside City champion, whoever would win this Riverside Classic. Do you feel kind of the same way?
Absolutely, Pep. Yeah, and thanks for the shout out with the beard.
Yes.
It's definitely not a COVID beard. It's been going on for a little bit longer than that. But hey, you know what? I'm 100% just thrilled. I have a lot of respect for the men in this chat right now. Everybody likes to compete, and you use the right word. It's healthy rivalry. It's great for Riverside. You know what I mean? For us to go and compete, enjoy each other's company, but let our guys play and have that rivalry reinstilled. You know what I mean? And so I know that I echo the rest of the people in the room here that Poly, man, we're fired up and we're ready to go, and so we're glad that we're involved with it.
Now I'm going to go to Coach Nochi from JW North, 3rd and Chicago. Coach, have you played Coach Madrill and King High School before?
Yes, we have. We've played them, since he's been up there once, twice, 3 times, I believe. And they've got the upper hand. I think it's we're 1-2 against them right now. But no, just obviously I'm kind of. I wasn't around during this time when they had the Riverside Classic, but anything that these guys want to get into and bring it to the city and the community, it's nothing. It can do nothing but benefit everybody involved and get the whole community involved.
I think that's well said, Coach. And I'm going to go to Clint Ball next from Ramona High School. And Coach Ball, when we talk about, getting, I think Coach Madrill getting the band back together, right? Some of these old school rivals and letting them play again once more. I don't know what the high school baseball season will look like this spring, but this would be certainly something for us to look forward to. I don't, like for example, the fall sports are not going to have CIF Southern Section playoffs. Again, I don't know what the spring is going to look like, but if we can get the Riverside Classic off the ground, and first off, we have to get a green light for baseball, but if we can get this off the ground, that'd be pretty special. I think that'd be something for the community to look forward to, kind of a bright spot in what's been a very tough 12 months for local sports.
Yeah, absolutely. We just looking forward to getting out there and trying to compete. Being against the different teams in our area that we don't normally get a chance to play. It's gonna benefit everybody out here.
Let me go back to Coach Madrill, who is probably the biggest Padres fan I know out there. I'm kidding. I'm kidding, Coach. How dare I? I know. Actually, the Padres might rival the Dodgers, but that's another conversation. We'll talk about that at a different date. But, Coach, when you brought this up and you reached out to your colleagues over here that we have on the show, was the response like, yeah, we got to make this happen. Whatever we need to do, maybe, I think a lot of it is probably for the kids, right? Obviously, you guys want to do it because it's fun, but the kids out there, especially the seniors, get them a chance to have some meaningful games, especially because so many of them last year had their seasons cut short.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the idea has been in the works for a long time. we just never really had the reason or the excuse to actually go through with it. And then this year, it was kind of like that perfect storm that all 6 of us were actually in the same Orange County tournament to start the year. And then you hear things about, schools probably can't play anybody outside of your county. As far as the COVID goes, they want you to kind of stay in your city or in your county or whatnot. And we kind of just started a group chat and said, hey, you know what? Instead of us driving out to Orange County and paying all this money to play in a tournament, why don't we just play ourselves? And we'll do our own scheduling. And I think every single one of us immediately were all in. And we just thought it was a really good idea. Obviously, Riverside based, you kind of bring back the Riverside Classic. And then not only that, but, bring back the Ivy League. It's been a dream of mine since I've been coaching to bring back the Ivy League. But, obviously who knows if that's ever going to happen. But I think this is a good first start, and I think this is a good way for us to get it going. So we're excited. But to answer your question again, Pep, it was all kind of like it all came together because we were all in the same tournament, and it was a way for us to kind of do our own thing.
I mentioned this to you guys, the entire group off the air, but everyone, all these teams represented, you guys are all working out or doing some sort of version of a practice, right? Getting ready for the season?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, so, this could be for the entire group. Anyone can jump in here, but, we'll end it on this, that, we're currently in the purple tier, and we have cross country right now. We have the other spring sports like swimming and golf and tennis and track, which will, resume because they are purple tier sports as well. Baseball is a red tier, and it looks promising. I think we're getting closer and closer there, and in fact, maybe even the governor will change the guidelines and throw the colored tiers out the window. But as of right now, as of Wednesday, February 17th, we still have the colored tiers. Baseball is red. Are you guys all optimistic I don't know if we start on time, but are you optimistic we'll have some sort of a high school baseball season? And any of you guys can jump in here.
I think Tim probably knows a lot more about this than I would, but I think I'm definitely optimistic. I think it's going to happen. I think things are trending in the right direction. But it's kind of weird that we're planning all this stuff for something that might not even happen. But Tim might know a lot more about it than I do.
And as far as me, I'm more of a glass half full type of guy at all times. So I'm just optimistic. Myself, I do have a personal connection in preparing with our guys. My son does play for me. He missed out on a season. I know John's son plays for him. He missed out on a season. So I think as not only as baseball coaches, but as parents, we kind of sit back and we're keeping the faith and keeping the hope. And I think Clint's kid even plays in his program. So, as coaches and dads, I think we're trying to keep the glass half full, keep the spirits going. And I'm pretty confident something will happen. At least that's what I tell myself every day. And I tell our players, but I truly think something will happen.
Anybody else want to jump in there?
I agree with Clever, though, man.
Go ahead, Coach Carter.
I agree with Clever because it's been tough for this last year. So, with kids not having to go to school, can't go to school. I talk to my ball players all the time, and they go to the little local parks, and they're doing little over-the-line games and BP and, doing things on their own. But they can't wait to get back on the field and be competitive and play against other teams as well.
Yeah, I think the key really is just being optimistic. These players deserve it, and we're doing everything that we can in order to get them to be able to compete. Like Clint was saying, and I can speak for Poly myself. Last year we had 15 seniors, that lost their season. It just breaks your heart. And now we have another core of seniors and a group of guys and younger guys that are coming in, and so I think us as coaches and as mentors, we got to be as positive and optimistic as possible because things seem to be turning. And I know that we're all eager to get out there. And that's another reason why I think this tournament is just such a great idea.
Well, guys, it certainly looks promising. I think we are going in the right direction. In fact, I know we are because the numbers are dropping, and hopefully they'll drop far enough we can get into the red based on the current guidelines right now. Guys, thank you so much for jumping on. And, you know, once we get the official green light for baseball, I know the Inland Sports Show wants to be heavily involved with the Riverside Classic. However, we can lend a hand and maybe stream some games live because maybe we won't have fans. Who knows? Who knows what it'll look like in a couple months. But, guys, thank you so much for making time on a Wednesday night. We do appreciate it, and best of luck to all your programs going forward, guys. Thank you so much.
All right, thanks a lot.
Appreciate it.
Be well.
All right, thank you, guys. Those are all 6 of the Riverside Classic head coaches here on the show. That was a lot of fun. When we come back, we'll talk a little cross country with Rev head coach Matt Sartori, and then a little bit later, Gary Adcock, the skipper at CBU, will join us live as the Lancers will open up the season against Pepperdine. We'll be back on your favorite show, the Inland Sports Show.
What's going on, guys? This is Ray Bass from Boost Performance Training. You're watching the Inland Sports Show with the one and only Pep Fernandez.
Hey guys, it's Pep Fernandez from the #1 sports show in the Inland Empire, the Inland Sports Show. I wanted to let you know about the BASS School. That stands for the Boost Alternative School for Student Athletes. All of us are trying to find a way to get ahead in the classroom and in athletics. If you're a parent, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Wanting to give your son the best opportunity to succeed. BASS is an all-boys private middle school servicing 7th and 8th grade student athletes. They've got unique, customized curriculum for student athletes, individualized nutrition and athletic development, plus rigorous academic development with small class sizes. This is not an online homeschool. This is a private school for students who are serious about their grades and serious about their sports. BASS school enrollment for the 2021-2022 school year begins in January, so don't wait. Lock up your spot today. Visit boosttrainingsystems.com for more information. The #1 sporting goods store in the Inland Empire is Ken's Sporting Goods in Norco. Whether you need new uniforms for the entire team, a Letterman's jacket, or new cleats for the upcoming season, check out Ken's Sporting Goods. Plus, now you can order masks with your favorite team, school, business, and more. Order for your entire team or organization. Visit kensportinggoods.com for more information and for the latest on the big sales. Make sure to follow Ken's Sporting Goods on Instagram and Twitter. So if you need team uniforms or sports gear, there's only one place to go in the Inland Empire. That's Ken's Sporting Goods. Championship boat parade that they had in Tampa Bay. I just thought it was very cool, just very outside the box. And listen, guys, I stopped fighting it. I stopped trying to swim upstream against this. I'm a Niner fan. I'm a Joe Montana fan. He's the GOAT. Just appreciate it. He's not going to play for forever, I don't think at least, but he's not going to play for forever. So just enjoy it in the moment, and who knows, they might be back. Hey guys, what other NFL though? I can't believe I'm hearing this, but is there actually a possibility Russell Wilson, the star quarterback for the Seahawks, could be traded at some point? And I heard the Raiders could be like a likely destination with Derek Carr going to Seattle and Russell Wilson coming to Las Vegas. How crazy is that?
I know that rumor comes from because John Gruden has always had a little deep love affair with Russell Wilson. He really scouted him on ESPN when he did that quarterback thing. But supposedly there is some friction between Seahawk management and Russell Wilson's camp.
Welcome back, everybody. Check out local sports talk on KCAL 96.7 FM every Monday and Thursday at 9:30 a.m. And a big thanks to all of the Riverside Classic baseball coaches. It's awesome having 6 head coaches on at the same time, and they're all passionate about having a season and giving those student athletes, those kids in their program, a chance to play this spring. Well, at Redlands East Valley in the Citrus Belt League, they're already off and running. They are competing in cross country right now, like several other school districts here in Riverside County. County as well. Redlands East Valley hosted the first CBL meet, and it was a little bit different, more like time trials. We'll get into that. We've got Matt Sartori, the head coach of the Wildcats, join us live here on the show. And Coach, first off, kudos to you, kudos to Rev administration, anyone across the CBL that made this happen, because, man, it's just so good to see the kids out there competing. How fun was it just to be out there competing again?
It was pretty great. I mean, I think there was a lot of excitement. There was, by the end of the season for track, it got canceled a lot earlier than we thought. And this year we were able to actually have a race. A couple people haven't even raced since last track season, or even before that if they were playing soccer. So it was a great opportunity. I think a lot of people were very excited, and we were very fortunate to have a race this last Saturday.
Well, Coach, I know, because I follow the Rev program from afar. You've had a strong boys program. In fact, you got some great senior runners this year. And I would assume as a head coach, just to have your seniors, especially your seniors, a chance to compete out there, how special was that? Because, again, like you said, going back to last track season, that was cut short. Here we are, almost a year later, and we're talking cross country. And we're having a season. It's not a normal season, but we're having a season nonetheless. And you've got a special group of seniors, especially on that boys side.
Yeah, I mean, they're a little bit bummed out that we didn't get to have a state meet and things like that. But, we always try to look forward to what we can do. And we're like, well, we got these races coming up, so we're going to do the best we can and try to put on the best performances we can during the season while we can do it. Because, a lot of the kids, they had some missed opportunities for scholarships and things like that because of the lack of track season. Because, as you know, junior year is when they decide how good you guys are and everything. It's really hard to run super well during your sophomore years, even though we had a lot of guys run pretty well during, last cross country season. We took 5th in state. So I think we're going to have some pretty good performances in these coming meets. And I think we did pretty good on Saturday.
So, Coach, for these upcoming meets that you just mentioned, are they important for your seniors? Do you have some seniors right now on the squad who are, keeping their college opportunities, still open? Maybe they will get some offers in the next couple of weeks or months. Yeah,
a couple of them already have kind of ideas where they're going to go, because it's kind of, late in the year. I know one of my seniors, Simon, he got into MIT. And he's also looking at the Naval Academy and the Air Force Academy. And then I think my other senior, Matt Hornung, is planning on maybe going to Missouri for Washington University. And then one of my other seniors is going to go to BYU, Liam Mapes. So I think, they're going to try to put on some good performances and see what they can do. And maybe they'll get some more offers, who knows. But they kind of have an idea where they want to go, which is good.
Well, Coach, my personal feeling is the fact that you guys are just out there racing and competing, that's a victory in itself. But, like you mentioned, there's no state meet, there's no CIF Southern Section postseason. What are some of the goals that maybe you can motivate some of your runners with? Is it maybe a CBL championship? Is it PR times? Like, what are some things that you can motivate them with?
Well, I think this year, since last year we swept CBL on the boys side, our goal is to try to go for the team time record for the school. So we're trying to go for some school records. The 3-mile time is pretty fast. I think it's 14 minutes or 14:01 by Eli Opsel. So one of his brothers is on the team, Simon Opsel, and they're trying to get that time. And obviously to win CBL, and then for a lot of my other kids is try to run some PRs this season and see if we can close the gap between our 1st and our 5th runners on both girls and guys.
Coach, can you kind of paint a picture and describe what the CBL meet looked like this past Saturday at Redlands East Valley? Because, at Rev, if you had a cross-country meet, you'd have all the, the runners on the course at the same time. And I know this was a little different as you spaced out the different schools, and it was more of like a time trial. Can you kind of describe what that looked like? And then also, what was the response maybe from, your administration or fellow schools in the Citrus Belt League?
So actually the schedule was set up by the ADs for all the league. So the ADs got together and they decided the schedule. So it went from 7:30 all the way to 11:15, and there was 2 races every 55 minutes. And so the teams would come to the school and run a time trial just with their teams. So there would be a girls race and a guys race, and then they would compete, and then the next team would come, and we had a warm up in a cool down area, so none of the teams were near each other at the start or the finish. And then when we started the race, everyone was started 6 feet apart from each other, because that's the CDC guidelines, and we were trying to follow that. And you had to wear your masks all the way up until you got to the start line, and then you could take them off and then run the race.
So, Coach, you guys hosted the first CBL meet of the season. What will the rest of the season look like? Will each of the schools get to host one? Will it be at Rev multiple times? What will it look like?
So there's 4 meets. So our first meet was the kind of the time trial meet, just to see how everything would go. And then the next meets are going to be dual meets, and we're gonna go head to head against different schools, and the top 2 schools will meet at the end of the season. So each team will get to compete against, and then they're going to merge the times and then figure out who's the champion for the meet. And so that's basically how it's going to go. So there's 3 meets, and each is going to be at a different school. I think the next meet's at Citrus Valley High School, and then it goes Beaumont High School, and then Yucaipa High School. And we ended up being the first meet because Cajon, who's in the San Bernardino School District, couldn't do it because they weren't allowed to compete. And they asked us if we wanted to do it, and I was like, yeah, we can do it. We've hosted other invitationals and things like that there before. And I thought it was a good site, and it worked out pretty good. And we had a lot of administrators and coaches thanking us for putting on a good meet, because we want to do a good job for all the other sports, not just ours.
That's really cool, and that's good to hear that you guys will be able to crown a league champion when this is all said and done. Coach, I also wanted to ask you, normally on if you're a casual cross-country or track fan, normally cross-country and track season are not butted up against each other. You've got cross-country in the fall, then, track and field in the spring. What do you think it's going to be like for your distance runners who also compete in track and the distance events to just go basically from one season into the next? Does that factor into how you guys train or anything as you get ready maybe for a track season as well?
Yeah, it factors in. Normally, we usually have kind of a base season coming up into track, but this year we won't have to do all the base that we did because we have the cross country. So normally they take a couple weeks break, and then they go in and start racing and getting prepared. But this year we have a little bit, I think people actually may be a little bit better shape than they would be coming into track. And we're also starting to do a little bit more track workouts towards the end of the season, so then we can be prepared to do 800s and middle distance, such as miles and things like that, are a little bit shorter in the 400. So I try to prepare everybody for everything, but we're always trying to get our speed up and our strength up at the same time. But we'll have a little bit more emphasis than we would normally at the end of the season for cross country, for track.
And Coach, finally, please correct me if I'm wrong. I live in the Redlands area, and I think this past Saturday the weather was great. Is it nice maybe running in 60 or 70 degree temperatures as opposed to maybe in the fall where we're still seeing triple digits at the start of cross country season? Maybe that is a positive if you're looking for a glass half full kind of silver lining here.
Yeah, I think it's a lot cooler. It's a lot easier to go out and run every day, and you don't have to worry about dehydration as much. You still got to drink water and do all those kind of things, but sometimes it can be good and sometimes it can be bad because if it rains or it's super windy, it's a little bit tougher. But I'd rather be out there in the wind and stuff like that any day versus 100-degree weather. Because we can't actually be out there if it's over 100. So.
Well, I don't think you'll have to worry about that for right now, at least this cross-country season. Coach Sartori, thank you so much for coming on the Inland Sports Show. We really appreciate it, and best of luck the rest of the CBL season. We really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir. That's Matt Sartori, the head cross-country coach for the Redlands East Valley team out there, and they had their first CBL meet this past weekend, so pretty cool to see the Wildcats out there running around and competing once more. And this segment is brought to you by Boost Performance Training out there in Corona with a local legend, Ray Bass, and they have the Bass Private School open right now. It's a private school, not an online school, private school for athletes who are serious about sports, serious about grades. You can get more information at boosttrainingsystems.com. All right, another break coming up. When we come back here on the show, he is the skipper for the California Baptist baseball team. They will open up their season on Friday. We are going hard on baseball on this show. Gary Adcock will join us next when we come back.
This is Alexander Madison. You're watching the Inland Sports Show.
Inland Sports. Calling all athletes. Make sure you're at your very best by training at Boost Performance Training in Corona. Whether you're a football player, soccer player, baseball player, lacrosse, athletes from all sports and all levels train at Boost Performance Training. Led by former Centennial High School football star Ray Bass, you'll develop explosive power, become faster, and add that lean muscle. Don't be left behind and get a leg up on the competition at Boost Performance Training. Visit boosttrainingsystems.com for information on their training programs and also on the Bass School. That's the Bass Alternative School for student athletes. Trying to earn a scholarship? Maybe make the varsity team? Get a spot in the starting lineup? Well, let Boost Performance Training help achieve your athletic goals.
I would say the one thing that we stress more than anything else is service to our customer. Make sure that they're taken care of, whatever you can do to make sure that that order gets to them on time and it's the right quality and what they want. I've been that way since 1976. That was my goal, to reach out to local sports programs, and it's grown from there, and we've been very, very fortunate. My grandson is right over here. He's working for us, and he's going to college right now, and that's exactly what my son did 20-some years ago, and it keeps on going, you know. Customers that come in the store that it's amazing. People that I haven't been here since I was a little kid, and I used to come in here all the time, and then now I'm bringing my son in here, or a grandpa that's bringing his grandson in here that came in here when we first opened back in '76. We just feel so fortunate to have been a part of this community and this Inland Empire for going into our 44th year now, and it's just been a blessing.
We are the IE. We work hard. In fact, that's the way we like it. We wake up early, we stay up late to get the job done right. That blue-collar, hard-working mentality is the same reason we have so many successful teams and coaches and athletes in the Inland Empire. We never give up. We are a resilient bunch in the IE. Everything we have, we've earned. No excuses. It's this determined attitude is what powers our small businesses, and that's how championships are won. The Inland Sports Team is looking to team up with other like-minded small businesses in the IE. Together, we can grow. We can be bigger and better. If it was easy, everyone would do it. But we're not looking for easy, just looking for an opportunity. Joining the Inland Sports Team could be the opportunity that you've been looking for.
And welcome back to the Inland Sports Show. A big thanks to Coach Sartori from Redlands East Valley Cross Country. And again, at least high school wise, the only sport competing right now is cross country. And we've had cross country coaches on this show. Man, the last several weeks, I feel like months now, as we're the official show of record for cross country here in the Inland Empire. We'll have another cross country coach come next week. Now, listen, that's high school. College wise, I think CBU's got like 1 million teams competing right now. Like everybody is getting ready to compete. Of course, basketball, volleyball, soccer, softball kick things off, and baseball will be getting things going this Friday at home against Pepperdine. The Waves coming to town. Joining us on the show, he's one of our favorites. It's Gary Adcock. He is the skipper of the Lancers, and somehow I think he found the fountain of youth. Coach, I feel like you're getting younger every time I see you.
Oh, man. You put that picture of me up today, and it looks like I swung and missed that ball, by the way. I appreciate that. There's a ball on the ground right below me. So very embarrassing. Yeah, look at that. Like, holy smokes. Like, did I miss that one? Am I hitting two? I don't really look real athletic there. So, yeah, diet started today. Thanks.
Oh, you're welcome. I'm sure there's high school kids right now saying, I want to go play for that guy.
Yeah, I can strike him out, and yeah, I don't know what I'm doing there.
Well, Coach, you've got Pepperdine coming in Friday to open up the season, and man, this has been, I'm sure, long awaited for you guys to get back out on the field at Topman Stadium, and you know, again, going back to last spring and having the season cut short, and here we are being able to start the season pretty much on time. How excited are you to just go out and compete again?
Well, it's been 345 days. I haven't been counting, but yeah, no, 345 days since we've played. I think we're the last one on campus to play. So I think everybody, to your point, has already been out there and competing. So we're the last one, and it's been the longest time since we've played. So we're super excited. What a great opponent. You know, a top 25 ranked team that's won the national title in Division I. So, you know, if you want to get that good score on the bull, don't you have to ride the toughest bull? So that's kind of what we're planning on, trying to see if we can do something special opening weekend.
And I love that analogy because the rankest bulls, if a bull is really rank, you get a higher score. That means that there's honorary and mean. And you play the ranked teams, like you said, Pepperdine. And I know you never shy away from competition. You love to bring in some great teams here to Riverside. Pepperdine was nationally ranked last year. I think they were up to like number 14 or 16. I mean, this is a very good team.
Yeah, and they returned everybody on their team but one guy, you know, and they took 2 of 3 from Michigan to end the season last year, who played in the national title game. So, yeah, we're getting a very tough, difficult task, but, you know, we're so blessed to even be able to compete, and why not find out where you're at right away? And hopefully our young guys can learn through it, you know, hold on to their confidence through the ups and the downs, and we can be better for it.
Now, Coach, am I correct in saying that you are still the reigning Western Athletic Conference co-champions?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I've been saying it. Yeah, so for sure, yeah, we've been saying it. Yeah, that title is still ours, or partly ours. I don't think we've given that up, but yeah, that's the goal. You know, can't go to the conference tournament, can't go to the playoffs, you know, for a couple more years. So the goal is to win the conference, and that'll remain the same.
Well, Coach, you know, 2 seasons of Division I baseball in the books, even though last year was, you know, a partial season. But 42 wins, 28 losses in your first 2 years at the Division I level. You know, what are some things maybe that you've learned along the way at the D1 level? Or is baseball, not really much has changed, you know, making that transition?
Well, you know, it was 17 years since I competed in a Division I game. You know, I left UCLA, got the CBU job. That it was 17 years. So I was wide open as well. I know what I knew it used to look like, but what would it look like now? And to your point, you still got to just pick the ball up. You got to catch it. You got a timely hit. You got to do those little things. Sure, the athletes might be a tick faster, a little better, but it's still the same game, just played maybe at a little bit of a higher level, a little bit more physical level.
Well, Coach, let's talk about your team a little bit because of the pandemic, an extra year of eligibility was offered. I mean, do we have a senior or upperclassman heavy team this year at CBU? Did you have players take advantage of that opportunity to come back for another year?
We had only 4 seniors, so we were not a very old team last year. Of those 4, 3 came back. 2 are everyday starters, Nick Playa, John Glenn, and Matt Amrine in the bullpen. So while we didn't get the benefit that a lot of folks got, maybe they brought back more than that, we did bring back 3 key guys. And so, having those guys in the lineup and the experience is definitely beneficial, especially with the early tough schedule in the front.
Yeah, speaking of that tough schedule, specifically that non-conference schedule, Cal State Fullerton, perennial power, the Cal Bears, Pac-12, obviously, St. Mary's College. I mean, you got some really great West Coast programs that you're going to be going up against, so you'll probably find out how talented this CBU team is going to be before you even see a WAC opponent.
Yeah, and some of that's by design, and some of it's pandemic-driven. We had some teams flying out, the coming out like we similar to Northern Illinois and Ohio the year before, and those teams obviously couldn't make the trip this year, so now you're scrambling for games, and Cal says, do you want to play? And you're going, yeah, Pac-12, sure, you got it, and Fullerton the same way. So it's good. It's all good. Just to be competing against anyone's good, but when you get to test yourself against the best, if you're a true competitor, you enjoy that.
Now, Coach, are you playing as many games this year as you normally would? And like when you built that schedule, was it like, okay, we got to be flexible here. We're going to have to do things a little bit differently and pivot when we need to. What does the schedule feel or look different this year?
On paper, we are at the allotted 56 games that the NCAA Division I has. We do have those set up. We did lose about 14 games to people that were coming out, and then we scrambled and filled those. And then our conference decided, instead of playing 3 games a weekend, to go to 4 games a weekend to try to get more conference play, or less midweeks, if you will. So we dropped some of the midweeks in doing so. But yeah, we're a full 56 game schedule. We're crossing our fingers and hoping we get to play that entire schedule.
All right, Coach, I always appreciate the time. You're always so generous with your time to come on the show. So Friday night against Pepperdine, I believe Saturday on the road in Malibu, but then back home Sunday afternoon at Topman Stadium, right?
Yep, and it's all streamed. It's all on the WAC Digital Network, I believe, or CBULancers.com. So if you're bored Friday night, we'll hear you. Either pray for us or cheer for us, either way, and we'd appreciate the support.
There you go. Coach Adcock, always appreciate it. That was great, and best of luck Friday night against the Waves.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir. That's Gary Adcock, the CBU baseball coach, joining us here on the show. And always appreciate it. Should have a really good team again this year out there at California Baptist. That segment is brought to you by Kin Sporting Goods in Norco, Horsetown, USA, since 1976, providing you with all your sporting gear needs. It's not an accident that, the United States signed the Declaration of Independence in 1776, and 200 years later, probably on the day, Kin Sporting Goods was born here in the IE to bring sports freedom to everyone out there with great sporting gear. That's kinsportinggoods.com. When we come back, a special mystery guest. We'll be right back on your favorite show, the Inland Sports Show.
96.7 KCal Rocks. What's up? It's Patrick and 40. Hey, man, you're watching the Inland Sports Show right here. Make sure you check out Pep, man. It's Inland Sports with Pep, but he's on every Monday and Thursday morning with Sports with Pep, man. You guys rock.
The #1 sporting goods store in the Inland Empire is Kin Sporting Goods in Norco. Whether you need new uniforms for the entire team, a Letterman's jacket, or new cleats for the upcoming season, check out Kin Sporting Goods. Plus, now you can order masks with your favorite team, school, business, and more. Order for your entire team or organization. Visit kinsportinggoods.com for more information and for the latest on the big sales. Make sure to follow Kin Sporting Goods on Instagram and Twitter. So if you need team uniforms or sports gear, there's only one place to go in the Inland Empire. That's Kin Sporting Goods. guys, it's Pep Fernandez from the #1 sports show in the Inland Empire, the Inland Sports Show. I wanted to let you know about the BASS School. That stands for the Boost Alternative School for Student Athletes. All of us are trying to find a way to get ahead in the classroom and in athletics. If you're a parent, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Wanting to give your son the best opportunity to succeed. BASS is an all-boys private middle school servicing 7th and 8th grade student athletes. They've got unique, customized curriculum for student athletes, individualized nutrition and athletic development, plus rigorous academic development with small class sizes. This is not an online homeschool. This is a private school for students who are serious about their grades and serious about their sports. BASS school enrollment for the 2021-2022 school year begins in January, so don't wait. Lock up your spot today. Visit boosttrainingsystems.com for more information.
Plays it back to Gack, over to Ty Rao. Rao trying to weave his way through traffic out to Armstrong. Sac State really working hard on the defensive end. Armstrong, deep three, and it's good. University splitting a series with Sacramento State. They are going on the road to first place Grand Canyon this weekend. That is a huge series for the Lancers. And then back home, the CBU women's basketball team, 18-0 on the season, 21 straight wins. They are taking on GCU here in Riverside, 2-game series there. So we'll see if the undefeated season can continue for the women's basketball team. Now we're going to talk a little UC Riverside basketball. He's calling the games, and for some reason, he has my cat. It's Jeff Gore live from his house. Jeff, that was my cat. Well, when he lived in the Fernandez house, we called him Big Face. But what's the cat's name now?
The cat's name is the Rocket, and he is because we have Thor, we have the German Shepherd, and so Rocket's part of the Avengers, as my kids love the movies, obviously. And we got this cat. You and I, or you brought it to us. And this cat eats dog food. It plays with the dog, and the dog's like 100 pounds. And they battle it out daily. How are you, Pep? I love you.
I'm doing good. I miss you, Big Jeezy. Yeah, full disclosure. So at one point in the Fernandez house, we had like 10 cats, and most of them were kittens, like we were just rescuing them. And then a bobcat killed one of them one night, and I was like, we got to get rid of these cats. And you took Rocket, who was my favorite. So I'm glad you got him. He was my favorite, which was it like a year and a half ago when you got him? It's been a long time.
It's been at least a year. And the funny thing is, when we first had him, he used to just be only in the house, and he used to literally crawl the walls like Spider-Man. He would grab the walls. And I didn't like him very much in the beginning, but now I've grown to love him, other than the fact that if you stop petting him, he nearly bites your finger off. So I think he might have killed the bobcat that killed one of his brothers or sisters.
Yeah, it was sad, but I'm glad he's finally in a good home at the Gorham household. So, Jeff, UC Riverside, these guys are pretty good.
I'll tell you what, this is the best Riverside team I think I've ever seen. And you think after losing your head coach, David Patrick goes over and goes to the SEC and making big bucks. He leaves this program completely full. The cupboard was full. They brought in guys like Jock Perry. They brought in Flynn Cameron from DePaul. They didn't have they didn't have the big fella this year. So they brought in new guys. And I'll tell you, they haven't missed a beat. My kid just threw something over here.
Oh, I saw it.
They haven't missed a beat. And I think that they've gotten much better. And I think that is a testament of how good this coaching staff is. You talk about Coach Mike McPile. First year as a head coach, he's really made them better than they were last year. And you say he's never been a head coach, but he's doing a fantastic job. He's got great assistants. And the players, and you've been around them, they all buy into the coaching staff and the system. And we're seeing a culmination of, years of mediocrity. And this staff has really brought it to the forefront. And I think they have an opportunity to win the Big West. I've seen all the teams in the Big West. Other than the split with Irvine, and I think we were better than Irvine. If you watched it, I think they're the best team in the Big West, maybe outside of UC Santa Barbara, who has great athletes.
Well, Jeff, speaking of winning the Big West, if we can rewind just for a second, we've talked about this before that, last year, it was the morning of that first Big West Conference game at the Honda Center in Anaheim. You were with the team when the pandemic really, hit the fan, and everything was closing down and games were being canceled, and we didn't know what was going on. And I always felt like anything could happen in the conference tournament, and UCR was good enough to make anything happen. This year, I feel even more strongly about that. Like you said, these guys are really good. I actually feel like at that conference tournament this year, dude, they could be going to the big dance.
And that's kind of I think that's the mantra of the guys. It's business as usual. Obviously, I'm not around them as much as I've been in years past, but I still have an opportunity. I still talk to the head coach. I talk to the assistant coaches. I talk to some of the players. It's business, and they really felt that they were gypped out of an opportunity to play in the tournament. And now that I think everybody has seen UCR for the most part, and there's a big target on their back because they've come out really out of nowhere, and they're just getting better and better. They didn't miss a step, and they've just gotten better. I think this year it would be almost sad if they don't make the tournament because I think they are that good, and I think they'll do very well matchup-wise versus anybody in the Big West come tournament time.
Now, Jeff, last year, with David Patrick, it was, you got to play defense, you got to rebound the basketball. I dig through the UCR box scores when I can from, after their games, and it sounds like their team defense is once again, their calling card. Like they're good on the defensive end.
Yeah, they're top 10 nationally defensive defensive field goal percentage. They're holding teams, to very low point totals. They're not a juggernaut offensively, but they do everything correctly. They've changed their offense from last year. Mike Zeppel, who's now the offensive coordinator, if you want to say it for basketball.
The OC.
It's nice when you have a 7-footer that can step out and hit threes. They got Jock Perry. They're the leading three-point shooting team in the conference. But their biggest problem, I think, has been consistency. Consistency to, as in years past, the David Patrick teams and Mike Pio teams have been pretty good offense or pretty good rebounding teams, but they have to be consistent. They out-rebounded Irvine, who was the leading rebounding team in the conference last week. But then the very next night they give Irvine 15 extra rebounds, 15 extra offensive rebounds. And I think that could be the only problem and downside for this ball club is they're great defenders, but they have to mind themselves on the rebounds, on the boards.
So, Jeff, you are not traveling with the team this year, right?
I am, actually. I don't travel with them, but I travel. I'm not sitting on the plane, messing with the players and the coaches.
That's the fun part, though. That's the good part.
That was always the fun part, playing doorbell ditch when they're in the hotel rooms, but no, I travel. I just can't really talk to them. I just wave to them from real far away, and then we talk. But yeah, we're at UC San Diego on Friday and Saturday, and this these double headers are a little strange. Playing, we're not going to get to play, Irvine at Irvine. We're not going to go to Hawaii, which is kind of, that's not. I enjoy that trip every year. But no, it's fun. It's fun being on the road, even though I'm driving by myself in a car and calling all by myself, which means I have to talk a lot more with a mask on.
And your favorite, Jeff, your favorite part was always getting back on the bus. Because after a game, you get back on the bus, and they always just had like piping hot food, delicious food waiting for you.
No, not anymore. Not for me. Yeah, I almost want to say, hey, guys, can you save me a meal? But no, it doesn't look that way. So now when I go home, I'm usually eating like the Sour Patch Kids and the soda that I had on the desk when I was calling the game. But, hey, you've called games at CBU, correct?
Yes, just the home games.
Do you have to wear a mask when you're calling the games?
Negative.
You don't?
No.
Oh, I have to wear a mask the whole time. So I'm like this. And sometimes you're talking so much, it dries your mouth out and you sound muffled. So it's really bad. Everybody goes, hey, you're mispronouncing names. No, I'm not. I can't talk through this thing. It's the
No, I have the mask on to enter the arena and get to my spot. And once I put the actual headset on with the microphone, I can take it off because I have my own little area. Nobody comes to me. Nobody talks like you. Nobody talks to me. Nobody approaches me. Like I'm in my own little box. Plus, everyone knows by now, I already had the Rona, so I'm good. I'm not going to give it to you. I'm not going to get it. I'm fine. I feel like Superman right now. So.
What are you talking about? I've had both. I have my I'm vaccinated
twice, right? You got both doses.
Twice. I've had 2 doses. I've had them both. In fact, today I was down for the count. Didn't feel very well today, but I felt good enough. I feel about as good as Rocket right there over my shoulders.
So between you and I, we're probably like the 2 safest guys in the IE to hang out with.
Oh, I could kiss you square on the lips. You wouldn't even get sick. I wouldn't get sick. In fact, I've been promising you next time I see you, I'm going to kiss you square on the lips.
That's why I've been avoiding you. That's why I've been just doing the Zoom stuff.
But no, you and I still talk all the time. I have people tell me, "Did you and Pep break up?" I said, "No, break up."
Life gets busy. Life happens.
And pandemic life. I don't know if you know this. Maybe I'm like a hippie, but I am completely off of social media. I have been for like 2 months. I haven't even glanced at it, and I'm like a beatnik now. I should just walk. I'm going to roam the earth wearing a cool beanie all the time. But no, I still talk to you all the time, and people go, "Did you guys break up?" No, we didn't break up. We're on sabbatical.
It's liberating to get off social media. Usually I go on there and like I go on social media feeling pretty good, like it's going to be a good experience, and I usually regret it. Like I'm like, oh, why did I get on there? Like so-and-so said this, so-and-so posted about this. Like, I just wasted 20 minutes. I will never get back. But I know what you mean. It's good. It's a good thing.
It is. Well, hey, Pep, what's going on with this high school stuff? Are we going to get high school football back?
So that is the big question. And I just heard today, Jeff, that Nevada cleared football. So they will play football this spring, which means California is the only state to not either play football or at least make a decision about football. We're the only state. So hopefully that's going to put pressure on the governor to make a decision soon because we're running out of time. Football has to end by April 17th.
Yeah, and I need to call some games. I mean, I've been calling my kids fights for the last year. My 2 sons, they're little guys. All they do is brawl. And I've been calling. In fact, my middle son, Johnny, walks around and acts like he's a commentator and talks about mom making food and what dad is doing. He'll walk around acting like he has a microphone in his mouth. So that's what it's come to. That's the only games I'm calling right now is UCR basketball and Johnny and Luke fighting.
And Rocket and Thor. Jeff, listen, it was so great to see you. We got a roll here, but please don't be a stranger.
I won't. In fact, when this whole thing is over and life gets back to normal, I will be there in tow.
And you're safe. You're safe now. You've got 2 vaccines. Like you're like Superman now. Nothing can touch you.
Yeah, but I tell you what, I kind of like just sitting around my house and I'm like macrame. I'm a macrame hero. I'm thinking about brewing my own beer in a closet like some people. I don't know. I don't even drink that much beer, but I might as well do something.
Jeff, take care, brother. We'll talk to you soon.
I love you, Pep. I love everybody. I miss you at Inland Sports.
All right. See you, Jeff. And he's on to something because I would make a good hermit as well. I love being at home. And real quick, before we go, so Jeremiah Martin, former Cajon High School football star, he signed with Texas A&M. He played a couple seasons there. He is transferring to the University of Washington. Check out this quick little snippet of Jeremiah Martin talking about going to the Pacific Northwest.
I mean, Washington, even back in high school, it was even the coaches that recruited me, it was just felt like when they recontacted me, it felt like no love was lost and everything just felt like the same and everything like that. So, I mean, they still recruited me hard. I remember high school, they're like, well, we were the last school, but this time we wanted to be the first school. So, yeah, Washington, they're a big choice for me. Yeah.
So coming out of Cajon High School, they were recruiting you. Do they offer you?
Yeah, they offered me in high school. So. they offered me like, I think they were one of like my last offers and my last visit to high school too before I made my decision.
Awesome. We love Jeremiah Martin. Always makes time for us here on the show. And best of luck up there at Washington. For the full interview with Jeremiah Martin, it's about 10 minutes long. Check out IEMG TV3, so airing on local TV in San Bernardino County and the IE Media Group YouTube channel. My name is Pep Fernandez. We appreciate you tuning in. We went overtime tonight. We played extra innings. We had a huge show. We had all 6 Riverside Classic baseball coaches. We had Matt Sartori, Redlands East Valley cross country. We had Gary Adcock from CBU. And you just saw Jeff Gorham and his cat Rocket live on the show. Listen, if you haven't done so already, follow us on social media. That's, of course, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and the YouTube channel. If you haven't done so already, please hit subscribe to the Inland Sports YouTube channel. Big thanks to Johnny Nunez, our director behind the scenes, who keeps me straight and narrow and make sure. Did I thank all the sponsors? I think I did. I think I got the sponsors in here. Listen, we appreciate you tuning in. Be nice to one another. God bless you, and we'll see you next Wednesday night, 6:05 first pitch for the Inland Sports Show.